coverage you can count on. This is WTVM News Leader 9. Sponsored by Montlick & Associates, Columbus Injury Attorneys.
Tonight it's all about severe weather and your safety. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Barbara Goche.
And I'm Jason Dennis. Tropical Storm Sally making its way across the Chattahoochee Valley, dumping lots of rain and prompting cancellations like Muskogee County schools going virtual learning only tomorrow.
Same thing happening in East Alabama, Russell and Lee County school districts as well. More about the impacts on local schools coming up in just a moment. But first, Sally slamming Gulf shores around 2 a.m. with strong winds as a Category 2 hurricane. Here's some video from parts of the Gulf there.
You can see a significant amount of damage caused by the storms across Orange Beach, the Alabama Gulf Coast and Florida Panhandle. Definitely seen flooding as well as damaged buildings, leaving thousands of people without power.
Sally bringing lots of rain. News Leader 9 has crews spread out all across the Chattahoochee Valley tonight as we monitor conditions in our area. We have team coverage like only you will see right here on News Leader 9.
We'll get to our reporters in just a moment, but first let's go straight to Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid for the very latest. So Derek, what's our main concern right now and in the coming hours for the Chattahoochee Valley?
If I had to put the concerns in order, I'm saying flooding, wind gusts, and isolated tornadoes would be a distant third. So I know folks like to hear that at least, but flooding's the number one.
And we're talking over the next few hours, things really getting worse, right?
Yeah, we don't need to think that things are not panning out or it's over because we're just getting started. The rain has been with us through much of the day. It hasn't been particularly heavy, but we have more on the way. See, the center of circulation of Sally's still back south and west of us. Here's Montgomery, so the center of the storm well south of that city, and it's moving in our direction. It will carry that rain with it. It will carry those higher rainfall rates with it too, especially in these bands. We call these feeder bands that feeding up from the south, pulling into the storm and dumping a lot of very heavy rain. That's also where we're going to get some gusty winds too. Here's the current warning situation. Numerous flash flood warnings for parts of southeast Alabama, just about the entire Florida Panhandle, and parts of southwest Georgia too. We would expect these to get extended north as the rain continues to come down across the Chattahoochee Valley. We are under a flash flood watch. There is a tornado watch just to our south, but so far the news has been fairly good in our area when it comes to tornadoes. We haven't really seen that threat around here. For the moment, though, rain is the story. These bands of rain, you've got, again, some individual storms in here with the rainfall rates. You're getting several inches per hour, and this being a slow-moving storm, we will continue to add up that rain here tonight. And we're going to talk more about those specific impacts for you a little later on in the newscast, guys. Back to you.
All right, Derek, thank you. And because of weather issues, school districts across the valley making final decisions now on closures and cancellations. As of right now, Harris County schools are closed tomorrow. Also, Muskogee and Meriwether counties will participate in virtual learning only, so no in-person learning. Again, that's in Muskogee County. Same goes for Lee and Russell counties in East Alabama. No in-person learning happening on Thursday. We have the full list of closures and delays on the homepage of our website, WTVM.com. You can also download our free mobile news app to get that information. And Tropical Storm Sally is continuing on its path, leaving downed trees, catastrophic flooding, and damage behind in its wake. We begin tonight with the News Leader 9's Cindy Sinafani in Eufaula, Alabama. So, Cindy, tell us more about what they've been seeing there all day. You're near the lake, and I can see it's coming down pretty good there.
Barbara, as you can see behind me, I am here at Lake Eufaula, and just in the last hour, the winds have significantly picked up, at least 20 miles per hour, and that's even tearing and chopping up the lake waters as well. But the real issue right now that city officials here in Eufaula are concerned about is the tremendous amount of rain that is expected from Tropical Storm Sally. Government buildings in Eufaula, Alabama, such as City Hall and the courthouse, are closed, along with all local schools, until the Barber County Emergency Management Agency has a better idea of what to expect as Hurricane Sally inches closer.
There is a small threat of tornadoes, obviously, because of where we're located in relation to the storm, but the wind and rain's the two big things we're worried about.
Eufaula Mayor Jack Tibbs remembers the devastation Hurricane Michael brought well. Not long after that, a tornado ripped through the city, destroying the Eufaula Municipal Airport in the process and claiming 23 lives in Lee County along with it. Now, Eufaula must batten down the hatches again and hope for the best with Hurricane Sally.
So hopefully, we can deal with some tree damage and hopefully no structural damage, no trees on top of houses and that kind of stuff. Hopefully we don't have any of that and no tornadoes.
As it stands right now, Barber County EMA Director David Logan predicts Eufaula could see as much as 8 inches of rain, which significantly increases the risks of flooding for residential properties on low-level areas and on the lake. But Eufaula Police Chief Steve Watkins says his department is on standby and are prepared for whatever comes their way.
The police department is on recall status right now, anticipating what may happen tonight. We're in constant contact with the street department, constant contact with DOT. We are familiar with what roads typically flood, so we're watching those. We have all the barricades and stuff ready to be put out if they're needed.
If the weather significantly worsens here in Eufaula, according to Mayor Jack Tibbs, he says that the Eufaula Community Center will be opened as a shelter to the public. In addition, it could be used as a home base for any emergency operations that need to take place. Reporting live in Eufaula, I'm Cindy Sonafani for WTVM News Leader 9.
And Cindy, those communities there in that flood-prone area definitely have plans in place, but hopefully they will not need them. All right, thank you for the live report.
I would just urge everybody to be careful. If the winds do pick up here in Columbus, it's supposed to weaken before it gets here. Main thing I would tell them to do is pray for the folks that are in the path that are along the coast. Anything that we can do here in Columbus, Georgia, we're going to do whatever we can to help those folks impacted.
That's Columbus Mayor Skip Henderson reminding you to stay safe as the rain and winds from Sally come through our area. And when severe weather comes our way, it's best to stay off the roads. Patrol officers say accidents happen left and right when big rains come our way. And our Samantha Serban is live on Macon Road in Columbus tonight with what you need to keep in mind if you must hit the roads over the next few hours. So Samantha, it can be quite dangerous.
Jason, yes, law enforcement officials say with all of this rain coming in, they recommend you stay off the roads as much as possible. The continuous rain can have water add up on the roadways, making it slick and making the stopping distances football fields longer than you would normally have. Lieutenant Lance Deaton with the Columbus Police Department says his team is gearing up to work many accidents today and tomorrow, so it's important to do your best to avoid driving if you can. Remember, if your windshield wipers are on, your headlights need to be on. And here's some more advice from Lieutenant Deaton.
Regardless of popular opinion, please slow down. Rain doesn't mean drive faster. Rain means drive slower, slow down, allow yourself enough time to get to where you're going. If you don't have to be out moving around, don't.
Lieutenant Deaton says Interstate 185 between Macon Road and Airport Thruway is a hot spot for accidents during rainy weather. He says many times the water can settle in that area, lending the road to hydroplaning conditions. So be careful. We'll be out here all night to bring you updates on the latest conditions. Right now, still a good amount of drivers on the road. So if you can get home, stay safe, stay off the roads, go ahead and do that. Reporting live in Columbus, Samantha Serban for WTVM News Leader 9.
Sometimes you just can't see those puddles. All right, thanks so much, Samantha, for that live report.
And when we have bad weather, it tends to cause us to flash back to other storms, and we can learn a lot from someone who has already been through a hurricane.
A Hurricane Katrina evacuee now living in the Chattahoochee Valley, sharing her story, hoping to give some advice for us in the midst of now Tropical Storm Sally. News Leader 9's Katie Cameron joins us live from Lee County today. And Katie, you talked with this hurricane survivor earlier today, so what did she share with you?
Guys, Emily Strickland was just 9 years old when she and her family fled from their hometown in Mississippi and came to Opelika because of Hurricane Katrina. She says though she was young at the time, she will never forget the strength of that storm and the power of flooding. Now here's some file footage we have from our sister station down in Mississippi of the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina down there. So Strickland's family's home in D'Iberville, Mississippi was picked up and moved into the street by the floodwater, and it was eventually destroyed. She urges everyone to get their emergency plan in place, especially with the potential threat of flooding around here. She says she knows firsthand just how damaging high water can be.
Almost bewilderment that a force of nature could like take a whole house, it could take a whole city and just flatten it. Kind of scary because I know that I mean, I know what the flooding can do. Sometimes it can do way worse than the wind can do.
Lee County Emergency Management Agency officials say part of your emergency plan during the storm today and tomorrow should be staying off the roads as much as possible. They tell us this will prevent car accidents and allow first responders to focus on impacts from Sally. And Alabama EMA officials are also urging you to call 211 if you have any questions. There you can learn more about storm shelters and road closures. Live in Lee County, Katie Cameron, WTVM News Leader 9.
All right, Katie, hard to believe Katrina was 15 years ago. All right, thank you so much. Coming up here on the news at 6, Alabama anticipating a long recovery after Sally leaves the state. We're going to have a live report straight ahead.
But before that, a closer look at the severe weather from Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid in the Storm Team 9 Alert Center.
That's right, guys. We're tracking what's now our monkey meter, but look, we can also use this as a determination of where we could have intense storms or even potential tornadoes. That potential to the south so far, that's good news. We're going to go more in depth with you right after the break, discuss some of those other big impacts on our Chattahoochee Valley.